The latest early access survival game Enshrouded has only been out for a few days and it's already got me hooked. And there is so much to do in the game, whilst the developers focus heavily on resolving the early issues. Hello Flameborn, I'm planning to do a review video soon to give you my thoughts on the game so far, once I've put some time aside from actually playing, that is. But there's a huge map to explore, multiple biomes, enemies, objectives, puzzles, challenges, there's a massive skills tree, multiple classes, a really good building system, even terraforming. But until then, let's take a look at what is going on with the game and where the developers' focus is at. There's been a lot of talk about a roadmap for the game, and the developers do have one incoming fairly soon. Keen Games have said that they want to share their roadmap in a few weeks, once they've made the game more stable and patched some of the more prevalent issues, of which they've actually been hot on the heels of already. They even have an Enshrouded feedback board where players can create their own suggestions for the game that the community can upvote for the ones they are most interested in, and also leave their own comments, with the most voted for right now regarding player-based progression. Right now the game is a single player and co-op based game. I'll be covering some of this in my upcoming review, but the issue some players are experiencing is that when completing missions and defeating bosses, this means other players can't do it later on and get the rewards. But because this is a co-op game and not necessarily meant to be a proper multiplayer, it is intended for players to be playing with friends together. However, those that aren't necessarily in that position may find this next bit interesting. If you restart the server, everything reloads. Just like in single player, you can exit and go back in and the bosses and everything will be available again. However, if you don't want to be restarting the server because that can be a pain sometimes, then there is a respawn rate of 2 hours. However, the developers have said that they are aware that there is a general feeling within the community that this is too long and they are looking into other options. But there are a lot of suggestions here which, if you are interested in the future of Enshrouded, it is worth taking a look at these, although nothing is guaranteed to be added to the game. The developers have fixed quite a few stability issues in their first few hotfixes, which include various game crashes and issues relating to some players being unable to even start the game in Steam. There are a number of progression issues that the developers are aware of, one being the rake issue. Some of you may be experiencing this issue where you get to the point in your progression where you unlock the scrappy rake. However, the issue here is that the original rake recipe is no longer available. In quite a few of these recipes for structures and tools, you'll see that there are different variations as you unlock new ones the more you progress in the game. However, with the scrappy rake you need to craft a normal rake as part of the crafting requirements for the scrappy rake, which is impossible since the rake recipe disappeared. The developers' advice for this for now is, if you haven't got to that point, is to craft some rakes before you progress any further. But if you are at that point like myself, it's a case of waiting for the developers to fix the issue, but it is on their known issues list. The developers are currently working on a new snapping system for building, and this is for pre-existing structures. These are the ones you find around the world, basically the ruins of old houses and towers. Right now, if you are planning on setting up a home near one of these structures, you can't actually build on those pre-existing structures, as the current snapping doesn't work with them. The developers are working on an updated snapping system that can detect all snappable edges, regardless of whether the structures have been created by players or were pre-placed by the game. There is plenty more coming to this game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing their roadmap in a few weeks' time. They are planning for early access to progress throughout 2024, and they are hoping to leave early access before the end of the year. They are also hoping to bring Enshrouded to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X once the game is completed, i.e. sometime after early access. It's possible we could see mention of that in the upcoming roadmap. but I will get my game review out once I've worked on it, and I can't wait to cover the building system. It is a very, very good system, although it does have some limitations to it, but overall it is really good. Probably one of the best building systems I've seen in survival games, and as it's early access it could develop even further. That's all for today, Flameborn. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up with all the latest Enshrouded news.